Whew. Okay. Morning, everyone. I should be used to this. I should be used to this because I'm a teacher at trade. So normally I just treat this as like a new class. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to September class. That will help me, all right? Because normally I speak at East Coker Church, East Coker Christian Fellowship, but Dan's asked me to come up this morning. And I know some faces. I've met a few of you, but in theory, you're a new class. So I'm trying to treat you as a new class because that will help me out. I've got a wife, a beautiful wife, and I've got two children. Annie's in the kids' church. She's just gone straight out there. My son Edison has stayed back at our church because he wanted to stay there because we've got the Knights of Antioch there, and which is great. So praise the God, because I love the fact that he's taken that on himself to want to do that. So I'm really pleased. A bit about myself. I'm a teacher by trade. I've done all sorts of things, but I'm enjoying teaching. God's put me into teaching, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I get to be around kids, and kids are great because they listen. They're hungry for knowledge, and being a true believer of the Lord means I can put that in too, and whether people like it or not. That's why I get to. Sorry, I'm not used to this. Sorry. But it gives me an opportunity to have God as a golden thread woven in their life. So that's great too. And God's going to put me in teaching for as long as He needs me there and move me on to something else. So this morning I'm talking about 2 Corinthians 9. I'm using the NIV this morning because it's got a nice flow to it, but I will be referring back to New King James as well, because there's some good vocabulary in there which helps us understand the NIV. Again, a bit of background about this verse in 2 Corinthians. It's about Paul, and we know Paul writes letters, and he was writing a letter to Paul was in Macedonia, and he's writing a letter to Corinth, and he spent a lot of time in Macedonia. He's got a lot of followers there. He would do because his heart's in the Lord. He's telling people about God, and people are just drawn to him. Have you ever seen that when you're out and about and you know someone's got a passion for the Lord and they've just got people attached to them? It's lovely. It's good because the light's shining out of them. The light was shining out of Paul, and he had some Macedonians with him. And he was writing a letter to Corinth because he'd been to Corinth before. He's spoken to these people, and to the Macedonians, he was bigging them up. He was boasting about them, how much they're giving and how much they're doing, all the actions. And then, so he's writing them a letter. And I don't know if you ever get this, like a pre-warning. Is it a nightmare when someone knocks on the door, rings on the door, and you weren't expecting them? And the kids got toys everywhere, house is a mess, the toilets aren't being cleaned, and that's the first thing I have to, those stuff. You got kids in the house, But you need to be prepared, don't you, when people are coming around? And what Paul's doing here is he was preparing the Corinthians because he was coming to check on them, coming to see how they were. And then because of these people he had with him, he had the Macedonians with him, and he didn't want anyone to be embarrassed or ashamed, But actually, following the Lord, sometimes you do feel ashamed, and you ask forgiveness, don't you? You get God on, you talk to the Lord. So a bit of, but he was trying to prevent that from happening because he's bigged them up so much, It's like a new manager joining a football club. He's been bigged up. He's going to turn this team around. And so there you go. So Paul's coming. He's on his way over. And within this verse, in these verses, it talks a lot about money. But at the end, I'm going to be talking a bit more about money as well. So it's about giving, I suppose, in a way. But it's labelled administering, for doctors and nurses and all these people, administering. And I had to kind of just hold on that word for a bit, because actually administering, if you're in that profession or in farming, when you're administering drugs and things to animals, you have to get the right thing in the right place, right? Otherwise, the person doesn't get better. And this is about the gift of giving, and it's about taking that gift, whatever it might be, and administering it to the right place for the right impact, right? And that's what God's doing to us, isn't he? He's giving us our abilities, our talents, and all those things, and he wants us to administer them to the right place at the right time with the right people. So bear that in mind when I'm reading through this, okay? So yeah, he's bigging these people up. He's saying how enthusiastic they are. And we've got to be enthusiastic with the Lord. If we've got a really good relationship with the Lord, we can be enthusiastic. We've got to smile about it. It's a great thing to have, isn't it? You know, we're out in action. So he's got his brothers with him. He's on his way. And he sends them ahead to check on these people. He says, Paul's coming. Get everything ready. You know, get your gifts in, your givings. And Paul's got a lot of confidence in this. So let's have a look at the verse. It says, is this start of the verse? Where am I looking at there? Remember this. Whoever sows sparingly. This is this verse. Let's go back, sorry. Thank you. We're starting at 6. That's right. I've skipped a bit. I do apologise. So that was kind of the administering part. I've skipped a bit there. I do apologise. And I'm going down to 6, where it's then labelled the cheerful giver. All right. And it says this, remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. And I've met people, if you could just stay on that for a minute, thank you, so sorry. I'm bossing you around this morning, but get used to it. No, I'm joking, I won't. So you've got to be careful with this, because I've met people who say, well, I put all that in and God's going to give it all back to me and more. Wrong attitudes. Whatever happens after is up to God. You get it in, and you're getting as much sin as you can. I've got written down here somewhere, it's about what you have, not what you haven't got. So give what you've got, you know, and then God will reward you. He'll give you more, I'm sure. But it's about your heart and making sure your heart's in the right place, your relationship. So giving is sowing, not losing, is what I got from that personally. I got from that actually it's about everything I do sow, and we're talking farmers, we're talking sowing here, we're talking about planting seeds. Seeds are anything, could be time, money, you know, your love, but you're never losing anything because it's not yours. And I had to test myself this morning with this. So I put some money under a chair. Don't look, there's some money under a chair here. Don't look, right? Because I'd test myself. I've done it again, sorry. I test myself. I thought I'll put something underneath. I'm just going to do a bit of sewing. But I've got to do it not grudgingly, not like, oh, but I need that money or anything. I'm just going to whack it on there. Because it's not mine anyway. None of this is mine. You know, my body is borrowed from the Lord. Any money I earn from the Lord, you know, Lord's give me the gift of teaching. That's from the Lord. Any money I make from teaching is from the Lord. It's all from the Lord. It's not mine. You know, if I went outside now and emptied my pockets and gave it away, it's not mine anyway. It's the Lord's. So giving is sowing. It's not losing, okay? So you're spending someone else's money. You ever done that? Have you ever spent when I'm at work at school and I've got hands on the whole account of the school and I'm spending money. It's not mine. It's easy. It's easy, right? Yeah, it's easy. Spending our money, family money, our money. Spending our money is a bit more difficult. You've got to be wise. You've got to be sensible with it. But it's easier to spend someone else's money, and it should be easy to spend anything you've got. And you get what you put in. I do believe in that. Working with children, and I know Ian, you've worked with children before. I'm picking out faces I know now. You've worked with kids. It's about what you put in, and you get a lot out, don't you? Yeah? You know, with your own children at home, the more you put in, the more you get out. The more you read your Bible, the more you get out. The more you spend with the Lord, the more you get out. So, you get what you put in. You sow. The more you sow, the more you get out. But don't get hung on that. Don't get thinking you're going to get, you put 50 quid, I'm going to get £100 out. It's not a gambling thing. All right? The odds are for you if your relationship's with the Lord. Okay, we better move on to 7. Let's look at 7. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God's love is a cheerful giver. That's fantastic, isn't it? And in the New King James Version, it says necessity. Compulsion against one's will. So you shouldn't just do it because you feel you have to. You know, when you see the signs are ever about giving, and people on the street are asking you for things, and their adverts are always asking you things. And but you shouldn't be doing it because someone's told you to. You should do it because it's in your heart. When you walk past someone and they're asking for something, or you meet someone for the first time, you invited them in the home and you suddenly realise they need something, then you can give it because it's in your heart. And the Lord's telling you, you need to give it to them. And you can't be hung up on it, can you? It says you've got to be motivated. And it's all about your journey with the Lord. And if you're not on a journey with the Lord at the moment, get on it. Get on that train. Get on that journey with the Lord and then listen to him. What's his heart? What's your heart telling you through the Lord? What's your heart telling you need to do? Because we're all different, aren't we? And it is up to you and the Lord, by the way. No one's going to be checking on you on your account, see what you put in, what you put out, or what time you're spending with the Lord. That's down to you and the Lord. And we're not here to judge anyone, right? That's to him. It's up to us to do that with our relationship with the Lord. It's between you and him. Okay, so it's a necessity. It's not compulsion. You can't be reluctant. Just let it go. Let's have a look at A. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you abound in every good works. The blessing. So, you're all here, you're all breathing, right? Oh, thank goodness. You all had breakfast. You've got a comfortable chair to sit on. You've got a great, beautiful church to come to. Some beautiful people. He's always blessing. He's blessed us with everything. There's so much he's given us. So he's giving us all these things. We can give it back, right? We can invite people into this church. Come and sit in here. Come and learn about him. We can give. And he's going to give it to us abundantly. I had to really think about that word, abundantly. I bumped into someone once and he was talking about why don't you just give that up and do that? And I was like, but what, I've got to pay the mortgage. And he literally just paused me. Whoa, God can pay for 2 mortgages. Oh, and you get all goose pimply. You think, okay, now you've really put me on. Oh, now I've really got to do something about it. And I still haven't, have I? But maybe we should. We need to. But you got to go with it. He is in control, and thank goodness he is. Because if he wasn't in control of me, I'd be in a bad place, I think. I know I would be. So, the blessing, and he's giving us what we need. He always supplies to us, even when we think he's not. I've got a good friend who I'm working with, and he's always so impatient. And he's always asking for things. Always asking. I said, have you ever stopped to thank him first? He's already done so much for you. Let's go back. Let's rewind to this point. He did that with you, didn't he? Yeah. And then he gave you that. Oh, yeah, he did. And then that happened. Oh, my God. And then you could see him unraveling, going, I'm so sorry, Lord. I've just got to be patient. I know you're going to provide for me. Not what you don't have, yeah. It's about what we have, what can we give. And in that last previous verse, it was about being a cheerful giver. Oh, cheerful. Can you give with a smile? I don't know. Can you give time? Mine at the moment is time, giving time. Time's so precious, isn't it? The clock's always ticking. Our lives are getting shorter. Akin always says, don't count what you've got or what you've had. It's what you got left. And you don't know what you got left. We heard this morning there's an accident in the crossroads and we pray to the Lord that everyone's safe, but you just don't know, do you? We haven't got a letter from Paul, have we, giving us that kind of a heads up, have we? We don't have a heads up. When our time's up, our time's up. And we need to be cheerful that we've done as much as we can before we go. And we need to be cheerful givers. We need to be smiling when we're giving. And that's not always easy because we've got that inner attitude, but I've earned it. I've done that. I've got that. I've made that. I've went and received that. I worked hard for that, but it's all not ours. It's not ours. And God is able to bless you abundantly. Yeah, thank you. Can we move on? Thank you. And God is able to bless you abundantly so that in all things, at all times, having all you need, you will abound in every good works. Yeah. What is the impact of the giving? Have you ever thought about that? I read Or someone told me that this chap was giving out verses in the street. Every day giving out these verses and people would take them, walk past. Maybe they all ended up in the bin. Maybe they went in pockets and jeans. Went through the wash. I don't know. But there was this thing where the chap had died. And someone had posted online about the chap in this city that was giving out these verses. And all of a sudden, this person was bombarded with these messages online of how he changed their lives. And there was thousands of these messages coming in. But this guy, he didn't know. He never knew what the impact he was having. He never knew. God knew, and it pleased God. And he would have gone to the Lord knowing he'd given his time freely because it was God's anyway. And he had this massive impact, which is just great. It's so good. And we don't know the impact when you give into this church or you're giving out of the church or wherever you give or whatever you give. You don't know the impact. It's not yours to know. That's between God, isn't it? Yeah, and quite often you give things but sometimes God's really kind to you and he gives you a little snippet of things that you've done or you've given something and it's had this massive impact and you get so bubbly and excited about it, which is brilliant, It's amazing. And but we're not always going to know. So when we're giving, that's it. That's the contract done. You've given it, you move away. You can pray about where it goes. And when you're giving to your church, you've got to in trust. You've got to trust in the Lord that your leaders of the church are using that money to do the works of the Lord. And it is. I've heard some things already in the boys' brigade and things going on in the kids' church and in the barbecues and things like that. That money's going off and it's having an impact. And it could be, and I'm not sorry, I shouldn't say it could be. It will be bringing people to the Lord, And that's a cheerful thing, right? Isn't it? Yeah, good. It is. It really is. So we get to give, and we get to give. We don't give to get. Yeah. And Paul is excited about the impact. More believers. He's saying, come on, let's go down to Corinth. Let's see what's going on. That's good. Okay. So what is the impact of giving? Yeah. How often we leave things in others' hands. We trust in God for its administering. We give to charities online and things, and Lindsay's really good at going, well, hold on, let's check them out first to see where this money goes. What's the impact of this money? She's really good at that. And we also need to just be wise, don't we? We have to have wisdom about where we put things, but also we've got to just trust in our heart and let it flow, let it go. Don't let our inner human abilities prevent things from happening. How often do we have that little stall where our human bodies, our physical bodies, this broken body that was saved, thank goodness it was saved and brought back from slavery by Jesus, but it is a human form and it is a bit broken and sometimes it holds us, doesn't it? It stops us from doing things. It stops us from fully leaning on the Lord. Okay, but administering. We have to trust in those people around us. Where does it go? What was the outcome? Do we need to know? Probably not. We can trust them. Trust that Lord's doing the work in them. And so, yeah, God is able to bless you abundantly. So, brilliant. He's going to keep giving it to us. Don't worry. The pot won't just suddenly empty out. It's all through the Bible. Things don't run out in the Bible, do they? The things just keep going. The fish out the basket, the bread and the wine, the good wine, it just keeps coming until we don't need it anymore. God just keep providing all things at all times. Having all that you need, you are bound to every good work. It's brilliant. Would you mind moving on? Thank you. And that it is as it is written, they are freely scattered their gifts to the poor, their righteousness endures forever. Yeah. Yeah, so giving is supplied by God. But we still have that fear, don't we, that we need it. Still have that fear that it's not going to come. And I see it in lots of my friends and family, that fear always. Are we going to have enough? But, some of my friends that I know that have got a really good relationship with the Lord, they're like, it'll come. not in when you're expecting it, which is the hard part, isn't it? Not when you've scheduled it in, but God will give it when he says, no, you can have it. Yeah, which is good. So giving is supplied by God. And we have to trust and lean on him. But I'm still learning. I don't want to stand up here thinking I got it all together, because I have not got it together in that sense. I'm still working on it. And I will always work on it to my last breath. And I will continue. Okay. But there is a warning, right, about this. I just want to send a little warning about this freedom that God's given us through all this stuff that he's given us, all these gifts. There is a warning, and it comes from Matthew, in Matthew 6, verse 19-20. It says, don't store those treasures on earth. There is a warning, isn't there? But store the treasures in heaven. So that's the other difficulty, isn't it? That some of us were like, well, I'll put that's rainy day. That's old school, isn't it? Rainy day money. Don't have those anymore. Our climate's too warm for that now. But we put holiday funds, university funds, new car funds, teeth. But we have funds, don't we? Start storing it. But then we go, hold on, I've got that for the holiday, but now I'm thinking that holiday's in bed, so I'm going to store a bit more in there. The car I want's a bit, I want the new electric one, so I'm going to put a bit more in there. We start storing, we start hoarding, and then we don't, and then we just hold it. We're not holders, are we? And God's saying in here, don't, and it also says in 1 Timothy 6, doesn't it? And Hebrews 13, it says, the love of money, be careful because it's evil. Don't get the love of the money. Don't get the love of all your talents. I see Metson yesterday, he was bragging about something, and I thought that, why are you bragging about something? It's not you that's good at that. It's what you've been given. If you're like the best footballer or the best, or whatever it might be, the best singer, it's not you that's the best singer. It's the gift that God's given you, and you need to go out and use it. So the warning is not to store, that the story of the guy that builds the bigger barn because he wants to store more stuff in it, or it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because I do it. I personally do. I store. I bank money, and you put money, and you try and be wise, but it's trying to be it's the wisdom, isn't it? And bringing up your family, but at the same time making sure you're pleasing the Lord by letting go of enough. So there's that warning there. All right. And then if we can move on. Now he who supplies seeds to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your stores, and seeds will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. Isn't that amazing? That's good, that. So God's going to provide you, and all you got to do is scatter it. The more you scatter, the more you get back for the Lord, not for yourself. And isn't that right? This is the harvest of your righteousness. Isn't that right? He's going to supply the seeds. You have to go down to Mole Valley and get them. Is that where you go and get seed now, Dan? Sorry, Duffields. Sorry, Duffields. But the seed's going to come. And God's going to fill your pockets and fill your bank accounts, or he's going to give you these amazing gifts and talents. And some of us have got young children and just really excited about what he's going to give our children as well. What are they going to do? We know Annie's a good singer. We know Ed's a really academic reader, and we just don't know what's going to happen to. But we just pray. Our job is to work on them and get them to use those talents and abilities for something for the Lord. Oh, it's exciting. Right, sorry. Moving on, please. It's exciting. You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion. And through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. Yeah. Teacher came out then, sorry. I don't know if it, sorry. You will enrich in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion. And I like that bit, every occasion. Yeah. How many of you put some cash in your pocket for church this morning for the giving? But what about, should I put some cash in the other pocket just in case I walk out and see another need for it? I don't know. Or you book something in this afternoon and then you go, oh, that's been cancelled, I've got to go and give time to someone else. Because it's not just about money. You know, I've been really excited about doing something on a Sunday. You know, you've gone to church and you've got this really nice barbecue to go to, and then you get the phone call and you go, you know, and then you've got to go and do something else. You have to give your time to someone else. I spoke about this. Where did I speak midweek about it's inconvenient sometimes. Inconvenient. Lord can be inconvenient, but what can I say? You know, it's a good inconvenience, isn't it? And you end up having to give. Yeah, it is though, isn't it? It's a good inconvenience, which is a weird thing to say, because actually, you know, you've got to drop your tools and go and do God's work. Even though in my head I've wanted to do that, you know, and that's a big inner problem of mine, isn't it, Linz? If I put things in my head I want to do, but I've got to just go, they'll get done in God's time. Am I getting quieter? Sorry, I'm getting parched. I kicked my glass of water over. Can I have my daughter's water bottle? Thanks, Liz. No judgment on the bottle, please. Right. So overflowing in many expressions. Who will it affect? Already, or will it be? Let's move on. Let's have a look, please. Are we nearly there? I think we are. This service that you perform is not only supplying the needs of the Lord's people, but is also overflowing in many expressions, thanks to the Lord. And that's the thing, isn't it? Paul was saying to the Macedonians and the Corinthians, he's saying, you know, put in what you can, what you've got, not what you haven't got, put in what you got, as much as you feel you need to, because that's all on your relationship with the Lord. And just pray for the impact it's going to have and the harvest that will be there and the people that will come afterwards. That alone is fantastic. And thanks to God for that. Supplying the needs of the Lord. It's not always the fixed ones, it's the broken ones as well. That's what we need to remember, isn't it? It's the broken ones. The broken ones. So, just to recap. Right, we've got to minister. We've got to minister it in the right place for the right outcome. And we get out what we put in. We don't do it grudgingly. We do it. We're a cheerful giver, all right? And whoever finds that money of the chair later, whoever it might be cheerful. Use it wisely. Do what you want with it. It's not mine. Giving. We've got to give because that's the glory of the Lord. And we've got to dwell in this. We've got to live in it. It's not short term, it's long term. Because it's not yours anyway. It's not ours. But God will provide and bless for you. And if you feel like today you're not being blessed, you're not being provided for, please keep praying and have people around you pray too. And be patient. Not my strength, but it is in some areas. Are you invested in your church and others? Are you investing in this? This is your house. This is your home. This is where you can bring people, but you need to invest in it. Let's do God's work. And remember, no one's judging you. Whatever you decide to do, whatever you give, no one's judging you. Ooh, there's only one judge here. And I just want to finish on this, just because it seems a lot about money and things, but I want to also just share that there are other ways you can give too. And this goes out to all churches and everybody, doesn't it? That we can give our time and we can give our talents, our treasures. We can give worship and praise and thanksgiving and service to others. We can give all those things. All those things. So if you haven't got a lot of money in your bank, you can give time and your talents and your treasures. You can worship, you can praise, you can thanks, you can service to others. Lord Jesus, thank you that this morning we could think about his people in Corinth and being prepared to to remind themselves of the relationship they need to have with you, and listening to you through their hearts and knowing what to do with what you give us. I think that's what it nails down to. It's about knowing what to do with what you give us. So help us to be wise, not foolish. Help us not to hold tight or store it, but to use it for your glory. To praise you, Lord. And Lord, I just want to thank you for the people in this church, and it just feels lovely this morning and beautiful, and it's all you, no one else. It's all you, Lord, and we really are grateful for that. Amen. All right. Thanks, Helen.